The Moonlock podcast is where we discover more about a person's creative journey. If you like the podcast and want to support it, give us a follow on Spotify and tag us on Instagram at the Moonlock Podcast and at Ramona Bisit.
Hello, guys. My name is Ramon, and welcome back to the Moonlock podcast. Really excited about today's episode. My guest is a 22-year-old CEO and founder of the sports card company, My Valuable Player. In over a year, he led the startup in amassing more than 250 customers and garnered over 2 million pesos in sales. Now the business continues to scale with a dedicated app during its launch. His background stems from a degree in psychology at De La Salle University, Manila, and his experience as a former assistant company manager of La Salle Dance Company Street. Welcome to the show, Justin Alvarado. How have you been?
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm good, fresh from the States,
Yeah.
fresh from quarantine, and ready to get back to work. So, yeah, happy to be here.
When you went to the States, was it more like a business trip then because of the nationals?
Originally, I've always wanted to go, ever since I got into sports cards, I've dreamed of going to the National. And then, nung nalaman ko na tuloy siya, July, I said, okay, if it's a 1 week thing, maybe I'll go to the States for 2 weeks, 1 week for na national, tapos one more week in Chicago just to explore, ganun. Pero nung sinabi ko sa friends ko, sabi nila, oh tara, New York ka na rin, LA ka na rin, they have a place naman there. So
Mm.
sabi ko, sige. Naging vacation and business trip.
Were you also with the team or was it just you na who went there?
Um, it was three of us actually
Mhm.
from MVP, but two of them were from the States already. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So yung team, so you have a team here also.
Yes,
The one you.
total partners we are nine,
Okay.
and then one partner is in the States, and then one employee is also in the States.
Oh, cool. So full blown parang you have like employees working from home but technically they're in the States ganyan.
Yes.
But
Helping with import-export yung employees sa States. Kasi
okay.
most of the cards galing sa States.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So before we dig deep into all of the MVP stuff, I just wanna start with how things started for you. I'm really curious about the Justin before the CEO. Yan. So can you just run us back with your time with LSDC Street for those who don't know what an assistant company manager does for the group? So how does just your dance journey started with street and then really curious about your junior jock days and ito mali pa nga yung clutch sports pa nga yung sinabi ko but it was clutch points pala.
Touch points. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I was LSDC Street for 3 years.
Mhm.
Ever since I was a freshman, I joined Street. And then first year, sayo lang talaga. And then second year, I was costume com.
Mhm.
And I got a taste of what it felt like to do a lot of admin work because even though costume com medyo kahit papano, it's not as intense
Mhm.
all the time. But come concert season or dance dish season, nagiging intense. So yeah, medyo nasanay doon. And my third and last year, I was assistant company manager. And basically everything internal, so relationships, scheduling, and all that.
Mhm.
Um, and information dissemination, everything internal, ACM.
Mhm.
So that's when I really got to hone my work ethic
Mhm.
because, I mean, tanggap ko na at this point in time na I didn't turn out to be, like a really great dancer or anything, but the values and the work ethic that I picked up from street second to none talaga.
Yeah.
Kasi I don't know, ibang klase yung formation sa street.
Mhm.
There's some things in life that I would never have learned if it wasn't for street. Yung simpleng concept ng pagsasalo. Like,
Yeah.
kahit hindi ko naman trabaho, pero kailangan gawin to get like the bigger project or the bigger picture, like, para makaraos.
Mhm.
Gagawin pa rin, So, it applies to business din kasi minsan yung gumagawa ng pub nakakalimutan, kailangan,
Salahin,
So,
yeah.
yeah, it molded me as well. And it also coincides with my time as a junior jock because that experience naman really made me come out of my shell.
Mhm.
Kasi parang dati, I was always, okay, at first I'm a shy type. Um, and then kapag comfy na ako around like people or a certain, group, that's the time that I can be, I can let my hair down a little bit more. Tapos, I'm more like free and stuff. But magic from the get-go talaga, like, kailangan expressive. So that's what I learned in magic na sometimes, like, it's just a matter of coming out of one's shell to really break out. Kasi dati, I remember the first session we had, and then we were introducing ourselves to one another within the batch, and ang gagaling ng mga kasama ko. And then me, I could dance naman, di ako nahihiya sumayaw, pero pag pinagsalita mo ako, medyo nahihiya ako, even though I could speak naman talaga.
Yeah.
So, I brought my street work ethic to Magic because every time wala nang DJ from 12 midnight to 5 a.m., that's the time kasi na technically you can practice in the booth kasi wala nang DJ,
Yeah.
wala nang show. So there was a couple of weeks na I would really go 12 midnight to 5 a.m. just practicing, practicing, and practicing. And yeah, that's where I honed my like speaking skills, DJing, hosting, and it led me to a lot of events, voiceovers, stuff like that. So Magic really kind of opened up a lot of things for me. Such a big boost in confidence, self-esteem, and all that. And then fast forward to around the start of the pandemic, I was writing for Clutch Points. It was a good experience then because it allowed me to articulate myself in the world of sports. Kasi it's different when you're a fan and you're like, okay, go Lakers, ganon, like galing ni LeBron, like okay, that's good, and it's fun, but it's a completely different world when you're writing about a sport. That's what I realized na parang okay, medyo kailangan siya ng research, medyo kailangan iba yung pagsasalita. So my time in Clutch Points allowed me to really hone my writing skills as well. And yeah, I guess all of those things tied together: street, Magic Junior Jock, Clutch Points writer, and it kind of, I don't know, the stars aligned at the start of the pandemic as well. And sakto sports cards were getting popular
Yeah.
at that time. Tapos I was also studying about investing, savings, and all that because daming time. And wala. One night I was just in bed, and then I thought of MVP. And from there, yeah, the rest was history.
Cool. I really was just curious about the junior jock thing because you were saying that you weren't really that like outgoing, like yung kumausap din ng maraming tao. But what was just the process of just getting chosen as a junior jock? Was it like may mga auditions din ba? I'm not
Right.
because I'm not familiar eh.
So junior jock program, technically you have to be a student to join. So whether high school or college, I'm not sure if grade school, but basically student. And then there are 2 rounds of auditions. First round that I went through was they made me read spiel, tapos short interview lang. But when I was auditioning, it was in a room filled with what who is there? Gino Killamore, Sam
Yeah.
YG, Boys Night Out.
Uh-huh.
So parang, even though I'm just reading a spiel, which it sounds easy naman, and answer a couple of questions, sobrang nakaka-pressure because like the big names of Magic are there to judge you. So yeah, actually, I was really, really bad and really stiff. As in, sinabihan pa ako na I was boring in my auditions. And then, but they knew I could talk
Yeah.
naman. So they gave me a shot. They gave me a ticket to the second round. And then the second round was easier because it was an interview lang. Parang, just, yeah, interview lang. And then, yeah, sometime like a few weeks after, nagulat na lang ako, nag-announce sa social media. And then I was like, wow,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did not expect na, because like yun nga sa first session pa lang I already knew na if I'm not yung pinakabano dito sa room, I'm probably like near the bottom. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when sometimes, if of course, if you're a Magic fan, like if you see that there's a Junior Jock opening tapos student ka, mapapaisip ka din na parang, ay, baka okay din yung experience because
Right.
BNO is a famous group then talaga, and then si Boom like in the morning,
Mm.
right? Of course with ano ba 'to? He covers the UAAP din, 'di ba? So parang
Right.
yeah, you wanna align with those people, and then it's a great opportunity to be a junior jock. So yeah, siguro isa rin yung sa mga naisip ko na, oh, baka pwede ko rin siya i-try, but really didn't go into my mind to actually audition then. But I know the may mga search ganyan, and then sometimes you hear them on the radio. So cool experience. Hindi mo
Super.
ba hindi mo ba inisip na parang maybe I wanna try radio as a career, or did that into your mind?
Actually, si Gio Martinez from Street,
Mm.
he is the reason I actually auditioned for Magic because ako yung nagvo-voice over sa
Sa event ay sa
maraming mixes ng Street.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
So kapag
cool.
compet mix or kapag dance dish, kapag may voiceover, usually ako yung kinukuha. Tapos nagre-record kami um, ni Kuya Gio sa condo lang niya. And then sabi lang niya sa akin, try mo kayang, practicein mo talaga yung boses mo and use it like, somewhere. Kasi parang okay naman eh, sabi ko. Okay,
Nice.
like,
Nice
and then
push.
sakto, I saw like on social media, because I've always been a fan of Magic rin naman. I follow their socials. And then sakto nakita ko may Junior Jock opening. And then I was like, yeah, try lang natin. So, yeah, for a time, actually, before the pandemic, I was really, really into radio, as
Mhm.
in super passionate about it. And besides that, the doors that it opened up, I got a few hosting gigs,
Mhm.
tapos got a few voiceover gigs as well. Tapos I was kind of leaning towards that already.
Mhm.
But the pandemic happened, and then nawala lahat. So I
Yeah.
kind of had to pivot. So yeah, right now there's I mean, I'm still a junior jock, but
Ooh,
basically ano kasi, Magic is closed.
the
Um
the station.
the station talaga mismo is closed. So hindi pa kami like tinatawagan ulit. But yeah, if ever naman, I'd be very much open to it. Especially since radio is just like what, a 1 hour 30 minute show
Program,
naman
yeah.
per day. So parang di naman siya ganun kabigat rin sa time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What year was your ACM term?
2018 to 2019.
Oh, just right before the so so kaka-graduate mo lang din ng before the pandemic. Freshman
Right.
ka pa
I
din.
actually graduated Feb 2020. At that time,
Oh.
wala pang naka-mask.
Oh.
Nakapag-march pa ako. But sa graduation, sabi, bawal na mag-shake ng hands because may COVID.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, buti nakamarcha ka pa. I mean, you were the last batch to graduate
Yeah.
sa PIC.
Last batch.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, just want to piggyback to what you said about street, like all the small things, especially even though na I was just active there for at least a year because of STC, but the values talaga na ini-impart ng street was something na I didn't really also expect. Like yung pagsalo, like you wouldn't really, I don't know. Sometimes kasi 'di ba, parang if you're still with a group of people, especially in sa work, sometimes naman you're just there for work eh. I mean,
Right.
you wouldn't really care that much. I mean, of course, kasi pinapasweldo ka nila, but not to an extent that you would go out of your way to fix stuff or to lend a hand and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
sobra ding na-apply ko siya sa work. Like I mean, I wouldn't really if I and I'm sure Franz would agree on this. He would see me nun sa BB na if 7 ng out namin, I wouldn't really go out agad as much as I would want to, but you know, just to check all the little things before leaving. Sometimes I leave at 8, 8:30 just to make sure lahat plan siya. And that's something din na nakuha ko sa street because well, I think it's just different. I'm not sure in other groups then because we wouldn't really know. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
may iba kang group na sinalihan and if you can compare that, but sa iba din parang the 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 bar that street sets on a daily basis is so high then na when you go out parang huh, okay, parang relax ng atmosphere. And not saying na hindi naman relax sa street, but you know there's this line of like even the simplest things, um you just have to do it 110%.
Yeah. Those are the things that street teaches you.
And maybe that's something then that I really like about MVP. Like the first time you launched, diba, you had to you had to rebrand. And I really
Mm.
didn't have any idea pa of the sports card as a whole. Alam ko lang cause I was playing Magic in high school. Like I forgot the Lotus card na sobrang mahal. Like sabi nila na parang sobrang mahal ng card na to, ganyan. And if you have this, then just hold on it. Pati yung mga Pokemon cards ko. I know the Charizard's rare, but I didn't really know until maybe last year how big collecting a Charizard card was. So when the first iteration of MVP came up, I saw it on your post. Parang, may okay ah. Maybe I can try like owning a card or parang get into sports card in this way. Kasi hindi naman ako maglalabas ng malaking pera talaga eh. Like I get only
Right.
a portion of it. So I think what really draw me into to your company, I think, was just knowing that you were part of Street and how I can trust you and the team with what I'm giving. So just wanna say that really really sobra solid
Thank
street.
you. Because iba din kasi yung, I mean, yun nga, I was a assistant company manager. So I was there for probably most of the meetings then.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of executive board, I really picked up a lot of things na actually nagamit ko sa business because even the simple things na um, 8 p.m. mag-post,
Mm-hmm.
nakuha ko sa marketing.
Yeah.
Like, yung mga ganun. Tapos kahit simpleng dapat dalawang tao yung nag-check ng pub before posting
Mm-hmm.
para 2 sets of eyes before,
Mm-hmm.
just to check design and captions and everything. So, the little details. Tapos with regards to finance then, hindi pwedeng like tanggap lang ng tanggap ng pera tapos hindi nire-record. Like,
Mm-hmm.
kailangan everything is always updated para hindi nagkakagulo. So, I don't know, just the little things that I picked up from street eventually also translated to the business. And actually, I thought I had no background in business, as in 0%.
Mm-hmm.
Pero looking back, I think I actually can say that siguro may mga 20% naman na background just because of the things that I picked up from street.
So my second question was supposed to be like, because most people get their experience running a business or running a company from their corporate job. Siyempre parang if they see how things run,
Mm.
so they get little bits of that, and then after a few years they resign and then build up their own. But for you, I mean, kaka-graduate po pa lang, 'di ba? But so my question is, was creating a company always on your mind? But you mentioned a while ago, suddenly parang nag-tick na lang sa'yo na, maybe I can do this. But was it before that? I mean, way before that, did you always have this entrepreneur mindset, or was it something na lang din na that came up because of the pandemic?
Uh, Actually, I've always been a little bit indecisive with regards to my career. I guess that's one of the reasons why I took up psychology as well. Para at least broad siya. Marami akong
Yeah.
options after, pwedeng HR, pwedeng clinical, pwedeng school setting. So
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons then I took psychology. And then for a time, I wanted to do clinical kasi I'm a people person. So like, I thought na parang clinical would also translate to a good career kasi, just directly talking to clients and stuff. And then na-realize ko parang medyo mabigat pala yung clinical. Maybe HR na lang since sa street naman, HR parang ganun na rin
ACM,
yung
right? Yeah.
ACM. So naisip ko, maybe HR, and then nag-OJT ako. I didn't really enjoy
What was the
HR.
OJT? Ah, okay.
I was an intern at St. Luke's. It was an okay experience, but after my internship, I learned that, okay, maybe HR is not for me.
Mhm.
Um, and then, yun nga, Magic also kind of led me to the whole radio events and all that. Um, and then I had to pivot again because the pandemic happened. So at that time, I just told myself, okay, as a person, medyo magastos kasi ako. So
Mhm.
especially the pandemic hit, time to save, time to learn how to, manage finances and stuff. Tapos along those lines, I got into stocks,
Mhm.
started researching stocks, and then I found myself particularly enjoying when I research about what makes companies unique.
Mhm.
Kasi I'm not much of a trader. Actually, I'm much more of an investor. So I look at, fundamentals more than the technicals.
Mhm.
And then, well, I just super enjoy, like, let's say the story of how Amazon grew, how the story of Facebook grew. And then, well, I just study, like, what makes, like, let's say, Chipotle so great. Well, how come, like, pagkain lang naman ng Chipotle, how are they so successful and stuff? So, wala, those little things I find myself reading so much about. And then, sakto, sports cards started becoming popular. I started seeing my friends get into it. And then one thing led to another. So you could say like
Mhm.
the thought or the background was already, at the back of my head. And then, wala, yun nga, a light bulb moment just one night. And then what I thought, oh, okay, baka pwede nating gawin to sa sports cards, parang gawin nating stocks kasi mahal-mahal ng sports cards. And then as soon as I thought that to myself, I got up from bed and then I just walked around in my room for 4 or 5 hours just thinking like, okay, pwede natin to gawin. Oh, paano yun, ganun. And then
Mhm.
nagulat na lang ako umaga na and uh, from then on, I just started executing na from there.
What was really the objective when you started MVP?
It was to make the hobby much more accessible for everyone. Kasi I was shocked how big the ROI in sports cards could be. Kasi nasanay ako sa stocks na parang you're not going to get like, let's say, you're not gonna double your money in one night
Yeah.
in stocks. Like, it's a process talaga. If you're trading, baka sabihin natin kaya. Pero if you're investing, it's a long process.
Mhm.
And then when I saw sports cards, nakikita ko, ha, totoo ba to na good game lang si Luka? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
ganun na kaagad yung tumataas yung presyo ng cards. So I was thinking, like, okay, that's something. And then I started researching more. And then the one thing that I saw was that, okay, sports cards could be very profitable, but the biggest issue that I saw was that not everyone could or would be willing to spend like let's say 50,000 pesos on just one card.
Mhm.
Like, like kasi well, depende naman sa card, but like if you're talking about the staple cards, usually they're up there in price.
Yeah.
And I thought na, okay, like let's say sige, ako kaya ko naman siguro, but like I'm pretty sure na not everyone like who would like to get into sports cards, hindi naman siya ganun kadali na maglabas lang ng ganun kalaking pera.
Mhm.
So I thought, okay, there has to be another way. And you can always settle for like low end cards,
Yeah.
but it's not. Sometimes, if you're thinking about cards as an investment, you have to really go for certain cards. So I thought, okay, maybe we can like make a system na parang ambagan lang yung mga tao for sports cards para hindi siya ganun kabigat kung ano yung kaya mong ilabas na pera, yun lang yung ilalabas mo tapos until makabili kayo ng isang card. And that's the objective of MVP ever since and up until today, even though we're um in a different direction, we're moving towards a different direction. Like that's the main purpose, that investing shouldn't be such a scary thought. Actually, it should be something that we welcome. And to each his or her own. If you want to do stocks, if you want to do crypto, or if you want to do sports cards, go ahead. But that's what MVP is for sports cards. We're here to make it more affordable, make it more accessible, so that di mo kailangan maglabas ng 50,000 and everyone gets a piece of the pie.
Yeah. And isa ako dun sa mga, the ones that really benefit from it because, like what you said, hindi ko rin kaya maglabas ng ganun kalaking pera. Of course, there would be some na mataas yung risk appetite nila, but for someone that
Right.
wanted to just like get into the hobby and just want to say that, hey, I have a piece of like a Yanis na rookie card, like it's something then na um okay din sa feeling like you have accomplished something na most people wouldn't really have, so parang that's also a good thing. What were really some of the challenges that came up when you were starting it up?
Well, coming from uh graduation, I had no business experience. So it was a bit hard kasi yun nga, even though I could say na I learned a thing or two from street, um, it was still like, okay, how do we start actually, So there was a lot of challenges yung pag-start pa lang. Um, and then at the start, well, a little bit after the start, we had like a couple of issues with legalities.
Mhm.
Kasi, I mean, I understood naman where people were coming from. Some people were saying, na, okay, you're dealing with a lot of money. So because you're dealing with a lot of money, it would be in your best interest to, register the company and stuff
Yeah.
like that, which I completely understood naman kasi like, it's not like we're dealing with mga maliliit na pera kasi like malaki lang naman, malaki siya talaga. So that was a completely foreign
Yeah.
like area to me, like the whole SEC, BIR, mayor's permit, that whole thing. So sakit rin sa ulo. And just managing sometimes the day-to-day operations because hindi may iwasan magkakaproblema talaga one way or another. Like minsan nagsend ng screenshot ng payment pero um hindi lumalabas sa account, or minsan like there's a bad pub na hindi pala na-check ng maayos, may wrong spelling pero ang
Uh-huh.
dami ng likes. So
Uh-huh.
parang ang sakit like to remove it and repost.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like internally as well kasi at one point we were talking to a lot of investors who wanted to come in and be a part of MVP. And ako naman, wala naman ako background. So, pag pag may mga sinasabing, ano yung mga compounded annual growth rate, mga as ako parang,
Yeah, yeah.
hindi ko masasagot. Like, it was a learning process for me. Like, I really had to study the ins and outs of business. I was reading and watching YouTube videos 3 hours a day minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Up to now, I still, sometimes I study a marketing course or sometimes I read a book just to really immerse myself in the world of business. Because like I think it would be a much easier path if I had like a business background. But um, I'm not regretting naman my course, but I make do with what I have.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of things. Because sometimes there's also the part na there's a lot of anxiety when it comes to business. Na parang it's not like a full-time job that you come in, do your job, and then you get out of the office and you get paid at the end of the like month.
Yeah.
It's point A to point B. In business, kasi even though you could say that you're working really really hard, sometimes it doesn't translate to success. So it's not about working hard, but it's about working smart.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in business. So actually, marami rin namang palpak na projects ang MVP. Like, admittedly, like, we wanted to do this, we wanted to do that. But at the end of the day, the bread and butter has always kept us afloat, has always worked. And, it's nice, I would say naman to diversify if possible. But, that's one of the things na wala. Trial and error lang talaga na wala. Like, take a risk. If it doesn't work out, learn from it. But if it does work out, good for you. So there's a lot of challenges that I've learned and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Even up to now, mahirap pa rin. But at the end of the day, ginusto ko naman to.
Yeah, and most of the millionaires, right? Yung mga successful business people that we usually know, the before they became this successful and popular brands and businesses, ang dami din talagang trials and errors, right? And I think what what matters is you just have to keep on trying and just see
Yes.
what really works, no? And then if it doesn't work, get the good parts and then just move on again. Something now I also learned with with how the pandemic really um gave us a lot of new experiences. So yeah, cool.
Exactly.
What really surprised you the most on setting up a startup?
I
Aside
was
from maybe the
surprised.
paperwork and the permits, kasi doon din sakit talaga sa ulo nun, grabe.
Yes. I was surprised actually with how it clicked. Because admittedly, sabi ko, okay, we'll start this with a couple of friends. Tapos, dapat pang extra income lang siya na, side hustle,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Like, if we can get if we can make a little bit of money every week and, pwede na yun. Like, that was initially the goal. And then I was surprised how it was perceived by the people. Kasi parang nagulat ako, wow, like, people are actually buying, and then the system that we devised is actually working and the feedback is great. So I was surprised that, oh, okay, this is actually really working.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just surprised how fast things went, because one thing led to another, and then nagulat na lang ako, like, at one point in time I had to make a decision, should I just leave Clutch Points because
Oh.
MVP is just taking so much of my time. So I took the leap of faith. I was surprised I took a leap of faith. um, I quit my job at Clutch Points. I loved my time at Clutch Points, but I told myself, what, sige, tara, seryosohin na natin yung MVP.
Yeah.
Let's do this full time. So, yeah.
Uh, is there something like a similar company maybe here in the Philippines or in the States that's like MVP, or as far as you know, it's really one of the kind of card splitting concept?
Philippines, no other company.
Mm-hmm.
But abroad, there are, if I'm not mistaken, 7 indirect competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Indirect in a sense that it's not exactly the same business model, but it's kind of similar. So Yeah, uh there's a bit of competition, especially abroad.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're trying to do is position ourselves as the dominant player, at least in Asia.
Okay.
Because all the companies are in the States.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I follow a few, like I forgot out something on Instagram.
Mm.
Uh, but I think they sell also cards, and then they have the graph and stuff. But I haven't checked if they also do the card splitting. But I think probably you're up here in the Philippines at least, no?
Yeah.
Really helping out everyone. Paminsan nagulat ako, there are some friends na because I also may mga friends din ako binubudol, "Uy, gusto mo bang mag-try dito? Oy, MVP is like selling stocks of this card," ganyan. Tapos, I paminsan na nagugulat ako, there are friends dun sa like, 'di ba you can see a few of your mutuals
Mm.
there. So,
Right.
cool nung reach like really kahit ako paminsan, "Uy, saya naman." I'm happy because a lot of people were, especially my friends, were discovering about the company. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
So how was it like when everything was set up? How was the first day? You still remember your first day of operations?
First day. Counting the first day when we posted our very first card, it was a Luka Doncic Prism rookie card PSA 10. And um, inabonohan namin, kaming tatlo. Sabi namin, okay, bilhin na lang natin yung card. Tapos kung hindi mabenta, at least tayo yung maghahati-hati dito.
Mm.
It's Luka naman. So sabi namin, sige, tara. Tapos, I had low expectations because sabi ko, yun nga, it's a very, very new concept. And it's not the easiest thing to grasp, admittedly. Especially if zero background ka in stocks or investing. Like, medyo may learning curve siya, I would say. So, I thought, okay, baka hindi natin ito mabenta.
Mhm.
But surprisingly, in 3 hours and 40 minutes, sold out.
Wow.
So I was thinking, oh wow, parang I don't know if the concept really worked or ganun lang talaga kalakas si Luca or I don't know, but it was a really cool experience to see that. Oh wow, like it na sold out. So yeah.
Nice. Nice. That was a nice story. Sabagay, kung hindi rin naman agad talaga mabenta, at least it's in your hands. Surprisingly though, I've been part of Cardboard Corner for like
Mm.
a month now, and I I didn't really also realize how big the industry was, or the sports card, the NBA sports card
Mm.
market is. And I I think if that would be the case, parang um did you wanna try and penetrate Facebook groups? Is there a talk like that somewhere?
It's part of the plan. Although MVP, we cater more to drawing in people into the hobby rather than drawing in people who are already in the hobby.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's our actually our specific target market
Mm-hmm.
because yun nga, if you're new to the hobby, chances are kasi hindi ka muna maglalabas ng malaking pera.
Right, right.
But eventually, once you build up your confidence, tapos let's say you've done your research, tapos you've like let's say really developed um a liking towards sports cards,
Mm-hmm.
then that's the time that buy your own cards, start
Yeah,
your own
yeah.
collection.
True,
That's usually the roadmap.
true, true.
So what we try to do is position ourselves at the very start of that roadmap, and then eventually and hopefully immerse more people into the hobby, and you know parang we're the training wheels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like that's what I like to put it, and then eventually you can ride the bike on your own.
Yeah. True. That's very, very true. I mean, I will attest to that kasi ang dami ko na ring nabiling mga cards. Like
Nice.
not really, di naman ako gumagastos malaki. Like sobrang nag-enjoy ako tumingin ng mga fire sale, magbid sa mga
Mm.
auctions lang. I mean, it's for fun eh. I wasn't really thinking of in having it as an investment pa because I think that's a big step forward with regards to the cards. But I mean, it has been fun like trying to look for your favorite player, kahit yung mga low end cards muna, like you know, just to have the physical card.
Yeah.
It's different din eh. Yeah. All right, so cool. Um, what's usually a typical day?
Mm. Uh, I'll preface it with the thing that everyone asks me. How is it like when you set your own schedule?
Mm,
Kasi you have your own business and you're, well, basically the boss.
mhm.
And I always say it's a blessing and a curse because sometimes kasi like okay, I'm not the type of person who can wake up, eat breakfast, work right away. Like sometimes kasi minsan tinatamad pa ako sa umaga
Totoo yan.
or sometimes, slow start. So or sometimes like I don't know, I just don't feel like working. So
Mhm.
it's very very random, I would say. But on average, I just wake up and then I use Instagram actually as my newspaper for sports cards.
Mhm.
Kasi usually nandun lahat ng mga news, nandun lahat ng mga people posting content about sports cards. So yeah, try to read. I mean, yeah, read some uh, posts. Tapos I go to YouTube and I watch a few sports card videos just
Mhm.
to get the feel of things.
Yeah.
I save a lot of things kasi so sometimes I just watch them on my own time. But that's what I usually do in the morning pag tinatamad pa ako. And then, yeah, I eat. And then after I eat, that's the time that, okay, basta after I have brunch, I have to go to work.
Yeah.
So, you know, if it's emails, if it's documents, if it's um, paperwork, or if it's social media, if it's pubs or anything, like whatever needs to be done by the day, I try to do it right after brunch. And then recently, started working out.
Yeah.
Kailangan kasi,
True.
especially galing sa States, tumaba ako. So, yeah, my friend also told me uh, we had to sit down talaga and said na, okay, you're doing well in your business, but if you're not taking care of yourself, you won't be there at the end to see it.
Yeah.
So sabi ko, okay, yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
So started working out. And yeah, dinner. And after dinner, I continue my work. And then probably around like 10 p.m., that's my free time. Go
Mhm.
on Discord with friends,
Yeah.
watch non-related work stuff,
True. True.
and read books. And yeah, it's fun because usually that's how the sked goes, but I get to adjust it whenever. But yeah, yun lang din. It's also a curse because sometimes talaga, wala ako ginagawa for 5 hours, like in the afternoon. So, pagdating ng mga 1 a.m., kailangan ko mag-work
Yeah.
kailangan matapos. So, sometimes gising pa ako till 4 a.m. just to get some work done. So, yeah.
Isa sa mga challenges sa akin when started the business was waking up early din eh. So, parang lagi kami pinupush din dito sa bahay. Yeah, you have to treat the business then like if you are in corporate and stuff. But you know, it's hard if you're sleeping here in on the comforts of your home and you
Right.
know, it's different pa with the pandemic. Of course, if you have the normal setup of business, 'di ba? You would have a place where you can go to yung location ng business mo and actually have to prep there ganyan. But same thing, it's not the of course with our business yung sa food, it's not always unlike pag may dine in. So if wala namang order sa
Mm,
morning, sometimes you get to chill. Kaya paminsan ang hirap gumising na maaga ganyan ganyan. But I understand
yeah.
what where you're coming from. Do you is there a challenge like you mentioned na rin kanina, is there a challenge na there's a fine line when to stop working, um, and then when to like separate the CEO to the to Justin lang.
Actually, it was challenging at the start because I got so immersed in the business to the point that um wala, parang I didn't really hit the off button anymore. Na parang it reached the point that I was overworking myself.
Mhm.
I was kind of burning out. I wasn't really talking to my friends as much anymore, and I wasn't really taking care of my relationships sometimes. Um, kahit like let's say brunch or dinner with the family, tahimik ako kasi pagod ako. But eventually I actually figured out how to hit the off switch.
Mhm.
Kasi it's my goal here naman is long term. Like this isn't a business naman that I just want to do for like 1, 2, or 3 years. Like
Mhm.
I have a long term vision for this, and I just realized, you know, through the help of a lot of the content that I consume and some friends that I got close to, that if I'm playing the long game, I have to pace myself,
Mhm.
you know. So that's the time that I learned that okay, gotta work out, or sometimes, you know, it's okay to have fun. It's okay to go on Discord for like
Mhm.
2 hours, catch up lang with friends, you know. So yeah, it's a matter of pacing, and I would say pacing is part of the business because like overall it also helped me increase productivity. It also put me in a better mood every day. So even just like a little adjustment like that made all the difference.
What did your parents say when you started the company?
At first hindi maintindihan talaga ng parents ko.
What
Like
was the
sinasabi,
conversation like? Did you just meet them on dinner? Tapos, I have an announcement, or how did that go?
yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I just brought it up over dinner and I said, magsisimula pala ako negosyo tungkol sa sports cards tapos para siyang stocks, parang ambagan, ganun, ganun. Like, I tried to explain it as simple as possible because my mom is not a techie and she's not into investing and all that. And then, kahit na I tried it as simple as possible, parang hindi pa rin na-gets. Yeah, it was a process, and like, you know, I had to show my mom now. Okay, this is what we do. This is what we do on Instagram. When this happens, this is our protocol. Ganon ganon. Tapos eventually, I mean, at first there was a lot of pushback, but over time, she warmed up to the idea of a business kasi parang for her basta pag nasa bahay ako wala ako ginagawa eh.
Uh,
You know, so kala niya kasi pag nasa laptop lang ako like I'm just doing whatever,
yeah.
but like I really show her ito nagtatrabaho ako sa laptop ko, you know. But I mean I understand naman where she's coming from, but you know it was just a process as well because I get that it's not the easiest thing to grasp rin naman talaga.
Yeah.
Especially like, for a customer, it's not easy to grasp. But especially besides being a customer, on like the inside of things, it's even harder to grasp.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a process, but she warmed up eventually.
Nice. Cool. All right. Um, we'll dive into some questions. Um,
Sure.
all right. So cool stories, man. I mean, as someone who's trying the the service that MVP is offering, so I'm just happy that we get to talk about this and you know share some insights about how things really are because I'm I know you're also consuming content from Gary V and
Mm.
it's he's also been helping me a lot with regards to mindset and how you know how I just also pace myself with the things I do. Yeah.
Gary Vee is such a big inspiration.
Yeah, and sorry, before we dive into the questions, what was the experience when you were in the Zoom call with him?
Actually, if I'm being completely honest,
I mean, sorry, what was the
um,
event pala? Why were you there? How were you able to join? And then what was the experience?
It was a closed event, invite only on LinkedIn, and then my friend was invited, and then he added me as a plus one actually,
Mm.
and then kasi parang uh, limited to 100 people only.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy na I got to be part. And then to be completely honest, it was a little bit underwhelming
Mm-hmm.
kasi for just because of the sole reason that okay, I love it and hate it at the same time. But Gary V kasi 'di ba, he um his content is always free.
Uh-uh.
So YouTube, Instagram, he's always giving, life advice or like business strategies, tips and all that. It's always free and it's always available on Instagram and YouTube. Well,
Mm-hmm.
at least that's where I mostly consume his content kasi. So, parang nasanay na ako na pag ito yung tinanong sa kanya, alam ko ito na yung sasagutin niya, ganun ganon.
Yeah, yeah.
So, pagdating dun sa Zoom call, I was like, yeah, parang narinig ko na lahat to.
Get, get.
Like it's exactly like Gary V. Um, so yeah, it was cool at the same time because like as he's actually there, this is happening live. I didn't get to ask a question,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, parang narinig ko na to lahat because like I consume his content so
Yeah,
much. Yeah,
tama, totoo, totoo. But I think, I mean, if you're a fanboy of him, just being on the same Zoom call with him, parang nakakilig
it
na
was
siya.
cool. Yeah.
All right. So for the first question, it's from my sister, Therese. Thank you for your question. Um, what is it like to be a CEO at age of 22?
Uh, it's how do I explain it? It's great. Especially in terms of like title and all that because parang it's it's something that I'm proud of course, because like especially fresh grad, young age, and all that. But at the same time, um, like I only usually tell my friends this, but I actually don't like being called CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, on LinkedIn and on the resume for sure it
Yeah.
looks nice, but on the regular I actually don't like being called CEO because I feel like I haven't earned it yet,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Parang when the day comes na I'm not dealing with like day-to-day operations, I'm dealing with like the future already, and like marami ng people that I can delegate the stuff that I'm doing already right now, and
Mm-hmm.
I can actually like breathe a little more. Maybe that's a time I can like say na okay, CEO na talaga. But like now, I'm just uh I'm just a person who started a business, and I'm just trying to lead as well. And I'm just trying to oversee the work of my partners as well. Just want to get the job done. But it's cool on a day-to-day basis because um I would say I can say with confidence that I know the business already like the back of my hand. Everything has to go through me, and yeah, it's nice because I don't know, like parang pag nag-check na ako, okay yan, okay na yan, tapos okay, this is what we can do there, and yeah, it's cool. It's a little bit like actually being executive board in street because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of oversight. But yeah, that's I would say how things go usually.
What were the notable challenges that you faced?
There was a point in time that I was really lost in terms of the direction. Kasi MVP was like having good cash flow already, a good following, the customer retention was good, and customer acquisition also was good. But I was thinking already, okay, this is all going well right now, but what's next? Like do we just do this on Instagram for the next 5 years, or like do we need to bring in an investor? Do we need like an app? Do we need a website? And so I guess that was the biggest challenge because there's no really right or wrong answer
Yeah.
when it comes to business, I would say, in general. Kasi a lot of it actually nasa diskarte mo lang talaga. Like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, learn from it. So at that point, kasi I was overthinking to the point na we were stuck and we weren't going anywhere. We had no direction.
Mm-hmm.
So that was on me. Kasi like my partners were looking to me for direction and I was lost. So I was thinking, paano kaya to? And that's the one of the things that I learned that time was also how to delegate. Because even though there's a lot of things that I can do on my own, I know that there are things that MVP can be better in if we added, like, let's say, a person who has this skill set, or if I trusted this person with this job. Ganon. So that's when I let go of the reins a little bit and I let my partners like really shine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised na it worked and it suddenly became a much more like well-oiled machine
Yeah.
from there.
All right. Um, Real quick lang then. Another question here is, um, were you sure that the NBA cards would sell, and how did you know that there was a market for sports cards, especially the NBA, here in the Philippines from the results?
I wasn't sure it would sell because parang yun nga, like the Luka Doncic story a while ago, pag hindi nabenta at least sa amin yung card, pero pag nabenta, that's great. But prior to that, I was doing my research na rin, and in the States, kasi it's a really, really big market. Um, Based on Card Ladder's data, there's an estimate of $500,000 of sports cards being transacted on a daily basis.
Wow.
So when I saw that, I was thinking, wow, like that's a lot of money. And knowing the Philippine market, na we're really into basketball. So I thought, okay, that's good. Like that's like one dot connected to the other already. And then when I started getting into the groups, at that point it was 5,000, 6,000 members usually
Mm-hmm.
for the groups. And then I saw that and I thought, okay, that's a lot of potential customers. Kasi like I mean 5,000 isn't a lot, but you could get started with 5,000.
Yeah.
So when I saw like the groundwork was already there, I thought, okay, it's just a matter of execution. We've done the research now, and hopefully it becomes successful. That was a mindset back then, and yeah, so far so good.
So far, nagre-reflect naman, no? And that's great. Congrats on that also.
Thank
Um,
you.
we have here a dance question. It's from Kaylee Del Rama. She asks, as a psych grad, how can dance impact one's mind?
I would say a lot of well, kasi in dance, like we kind of focus on the physical a lot, especially when it comes to technique, conditioning, and all that. But a lot of people kind of tend to forget, I would say, the mental aspect of it because um, the preparation it takes, let's say, for a competition or a performance it's different talaga. And being a psych major also kind of helped me get through a lot of challenges kasi wala, di may iwasan sometimes training every day 6 to 10 p.m. Even though kaya ng katawan yung 6 to 10 p.m. Monday to Friday,
Mhm.
yung yung utak napapagod din, especially with learning choreos and then balancing with school and all that. And being a psych major actually really helped me because like there's a lot of nitty gritty details in psychology that I picked up that increases productivity, um, how to save time when you can, or like even the simple 17-minute nap in between activities actually makes a difference. Like that's what I do actually
Mhm.
before a podcast or before I work out or before like I do something a little bit intensive or time consuming. I take at least a 17-minute nap just so I can have like additional energy.
Full practice. I mean, I didn't really think about the nap part. I mean, I sometimes I take like, especially pag masakit yung mata ko with all the screen time. So I relatively take a 5 to 10 minute nap just to refresh. But I didn't realize na parang oo nga no, when you were saying na it refreshes you and gives you additional energy, parang huh, okay, maybe I should also also try that. Usually yung nap ko like I nap for 30 minutes tapos sobrang nagdedire-diretso na siya. So not a good
15
thing.
minute is the sweet spot. 15 minutes kasi is the sweet spot. But usually kasi for me, it takes me 2 minutes to fall asleep. That's why I make it 17.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Pag
Okay.
nag-alarm ako, 17 minutes.
I thought the 2 minutes yung snooze mo after the
Mm.
minutes. Okay. Sorry, I think I mispronounced Kaylee's last name. It's Kaylee De La Rama pala. Sorry, Kaylee. So, thank you so much for your question. All right. This is from me. Who's your personal collection right now?
My personal collection, I'm still working on it, but Laker Legends.
Laker Legend.
Because I'm a Laker fan. So my personal collection right now consists of a Magic rookie card,
Ooh.
a Kobe, and well, in the future he'll be a legend. So LeBron.
But
Um,
yung LeBron mo Lakers jersey.
no, rookie card. Rookie card.
RC. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just started my Wades.
Dwayne
Miami Heat
Wade.
talaga. Yeah, Dwayne Wade. So I
Oh
started
yeah,
with
you're a
my
Heat fan.
Miami Heat,
Yeah.
and then recently I got at RC then na Dwayne Wade. So yun. It's been
Mm.
fun. I mean, we're down to the last part of the podcast. What is your advice for young entrepreneurs who are starting to build their own startups or small businesses?
I would say actually just start. Just start. Because you just don't know in business. Like I was mentioning a while ago, it's not like a job, point A to point B, and get paid. Business, sometimes you can work extremely hard, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you have some businesses na kahit chill lang sila, pero sobrang nagkiklik. So I guess it's a matter of starting, of course. But besides the fact that you have to start, it's about working smart as well, listening to customers, doing the research beforehand, and you get those things along the way after you start. Because at one point in time, you're gonna realize, okay, this is working, this is not working.
Mm-hmm.
We can do this better. We can stop doing this. So it's a path that doesn't really have like a secret formula to success,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a path that you just walk and it just forms on its own. And if it works out, good for you. If it doesn't, well, I just learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it helps if you have some leeway, uh, because at the end of the day, you are taking a risk. If you have some leeway, of course, na okay, if you have a little bit of savings, maybe you can take a little bit of a risk. Of course, that's a factor, but you just have to play it smart. If hirap talaga, maybe you can set aside a few months of savings first before you actually start a business.
Yeah.
Start like stuff like that. At at the end of it all, nasa diskarte mo. And I believe each and every person may sariling diskarte, may sariling secret sauce that, will lead to his or her own success. And I just believe that everyone will make it one way or another. And we each go at our own pace. But before all that, you have to start.
That is so true. I mean, if you guys are also following the podcast, alam nyo yung hirap ng not really starting, and that is so true. Just start and just hope for the best. I mean, if it doesn't work out, that's I think the beauty of why we do things is because we learn from it.
Right.
Thank you so much for that, Justin. What's next for MVP and for you?
Next for MVP, super excited. Completely new ball game for us, but we're gonna launch our app around October.
Nice.
It's gonna be available on the App Store and on Google Play. On the Google Play Store around October, hopefully, if all goes well. So that's gonna be a whole new
Grabe,
ball game
the
for
dev
us.
side and all of the QAs.
Yeah, it was a tough process, admittedly, because there's a lot of things as well when it comes to app development that I did not know about that I had to learn about. So hopefully that goes well for us. And for me, just I just take it one day at a time. It's a bit overwhelming considering the progress that MVP has done. But one thing that I am proud of that I can say is that the work life balance that I'm living right now, um, the the fulfillment that I have at this point in my life, I am happy with where I am. So yeah, just right now I'm trying to focus actually more on myself because medyo di ko rin naalagaan sarili ko
Yeah,
for a time because I was just so into MVP. So yeah, just taking care of my friends, my family, myself, and I'm in a much better place right now, much more centered, and hopefully along with that, revitalized me, I also get to translate that to MVP
mhm.
success, and hopefully it all makes a good cocktail at the end of it all.
Really, really rooting for you and for MVP, man. I mean, you really helped me. I mean, the joy and the fun that I'm getting from the hobby, I really credit it to you guys because I won't really.
Thank you.
Siguro there will be a friend or two that would introduce me to sports cards, but I wouldn't also know that my friends would be into sports cards. I mean, I have this friend si Alvin na he's talaga parang tinutukan niya ako for a day or two. Just dati ko siyang boss sa Kidzania tapos I didn't really know that he was into it, but nung nakita niya na nagko-collect ako, like he messaged me, "O tanong ka lang ganyan." And we're close. But hindi the friendship like reach a new level because of sports card. And
Mm,
sobra yung appreciation ko dun. And
that's
man,
great.
I mean, credit to you guys. Such a fan. Like I'm fanboying right now. Sorry. All right. So where can they follow you?
My personal, I'm just on Instagram. Yun lang yung may time ako. So at Justin_Alves.
Mhm.
Feel free to message me if it's business related, cards related, or kahit personal. Yeah, feel free to message me. But if you have like something like really serious to message and you gotta send it via email, it's justintalvarado@gmail.com. And then for the business, of course, it's at my valuable player on Instagram. And for the email, it's at assist@myvaluableplayer.com. And coming in a few months, uh, please support us and download it on the App Store or on the Google Play Store. We'll be moving to our own platform very soon. So Instagram, more on marketing and promotions na lang. We're gonna
Mhm.
be on uh, a dedicated app, and yeah, hopefully you can support us there as well.
So all the orders or all the card splitting transactions will be on the app na.
Yes,
Woo! Sweet, sweet. All
it's gonna
right.
be automated, and
Mas madali na
yeah,
nga yun. I mean,
yeah,
documenting all the paperwork and stuff. Ang
yeah.
madali yan. Weird. All right. Justin, thank you so much. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, thank
coming
you.
on. I really enjoyed this conversation. Guys, make sure to follow Justin and MVP. We'll definitely put their social media accounts on the show notes. It's the first time that an email was sent for this segment, yung mga connection. So really, if you have something in mind, maybe collaborations with MVP, just hit them up by email. Cool. All right. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, make sure to like it, share it with your friends. Follow at the Moonlock Podcast for more content. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So you can go check us out there. Again, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time. Peace. Bye bye.